Welcome back. Now, this is where we begin our State of the Nation conversation, and tonight we are focusing on the continuous voters registration exercise. Remember, this is the day two. The targeted number is 6.3 million new registered voters. The bulk of that is the young people. And of course, to help me unpack this discussion is Chief Executive Officer of Okoa Vijana Initiative, Gideon Meriru. Asante sana for making time.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about now the magic number, 6.3 new registered voters. And of course, this comes at the backdrop of a very agitated campaign for better governance from the young people. And of course, being the day two, we have seen some sort of sluggish nature, not many young people turning out to register as voters. And this is in contradiction with the paradox that probably was the expectation of many. So in your own assessment, how would you rate now the new exercise, the new registered voters exercise for young people? Has it really meet your expectation?
Thank you so much, my brother Evans. First, my name is Gideon Meriru, the Chief Executive Officer of Okoa Vijana Initiative, which is a youth-led organization that was formed in 2020 during the entrance of Corona into the country. I will actually say this is a new Kenya because yesterday we have experienced a new program that is going on right now. It's actually the voter registration. And right now, Kenyans are happy because that is part of their democracy. That is part of their right actually to exercise that power, to take vote, to elect leaders. You have asked me a question, and actually I love the fact that you have even starting by mentioning the figures, the 6.3 million young people specifically that we are targeting. I will say this is a move that has come after a force that we experienced, a young generation called themselves Gen Z, who came to say that we want accountability, we want good leadership, but the only thing that they can get the answer, or the only way that they can get answer of accountability is by electing leaders who themselves have said that they're the best. Because they say some leaders we have, maybe they are the people who have not elected, maybe they are there because of maybe using the back door. But right now, the Constitution of Kenya has given you the right for you to come clearly, register as a voter of the Republic of Kenya. And now when that time comes for an election, you can be able to exercise that power, elect a leader of your choice, elect a leader that you can see they are able to come and transform, not the interests of themselves, but the interests of Kenyans, including the voters themselves. Yes.
When you look at, the day one and today being day two of this very important exercise, especially for young people who I believe majority of them, they'll be voting for the first time in this, the 2027 general election. Some of the setback and some that we have run in our story is the backlog of IDs. Young people are not picking up their IDs, and this is a drawback when it comes now to this very important exercise. And this begs the question, are we seeing similar trend? Of course, same script over and over again. Young people being agitated for good governance, but they are not taking part in that very critical exercise.
Thank you so much, my brother Evans. The first thing that you need to realize in this process that we are looking forward for, it has challenges, it has disadvantages, it has advantages. So the first thing, we have to appreciate that right now, Kenyans are mobilizing themselves. Leave about some time back that, of course, it is a process that somebody may even think it is just coming, but it has been passed by time. But right now, I can tell you, and Kenyans are mobilizing themselves. And when I say Kenyans, allow me to use the bracket of the young generation who are there. Because the fact remains that these are young people who are the majority in this country. And right now, they are the people who are using even the social media platform that we are having, saying even some let me just say some phrase like kijana katakura chukua kura. You see, they are able to mobilize themselves. We don't want to experience challenges that we have experienced some time back. Let me come to the question that you have asked, that is it that young people are agitated, but when it comes to time for them to exercise this thing, they are not even going to pick for their IDs. The fact remains that the process of us accessing our services that we want as Kenyans must be transparent, must be accessible. I want to categorically say that, yeah, as I've said, there are challenges. Maybe sometimes there are the delay for them to pick their IDs. There is late communication that your ID is ready. I will say there is a Kenyan who is in Turkana. I'm just mentioning an example. Who is in Turkana? And an example, he or she need to come to Nairobi to pick the ID. Of course, we have a devolved system of government that right now we can say our Huduma services are within our locality, which are the counties that we get during the new constitution that we get in 2010. But the fact remains that Kenyans are still lacking the information. And I'm saying the fact that you find young people telling them or even creating an awareness, and they are like, we are not updated. But the fact remains that right now, they are mobilizing themselves, and that is a fact, and I can attest as a young person, actually because I am, most of them are coming clearly to say, vijana tujitokeze tukate kura. Ikifika wakati wetu wa kuchagua viongozi, hatutakuwa na msukumo. When I say that, they are actually mobilizing themselves that let us pull out in good numbers to ensure that we have the right thing. Because the only thing that you can use even to defend yourself and even choose the leader that you want, it is actually through the voting process, whereby you are conscious, your mind will allow you to choose a leader that you want. And there is this fact that we have to blame, saying that the other time they are in street, right now they are not coming to pick their ID. I will say one thing, the process has just been launched yesterday. And I was lucky to be part of the team that actually participated during the official launch of nationwide voter registration that happened in a place called Mashuru, Kajiado County. One thing that I can say, I have to appreciate the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. This time, the launch has not happened in cities. That we can say the launch has happened in Nairobi City, it has happened in Mombasa City, Nakuru, or any other city within the Republic of Kenya. We cannot say that the launch has happened in an hotel that Kenya cannot access. But I think it was a new phase, Kenya, to see the official launch happening in one of the interior part of this country. When I say that, I think Kajiado is actually one of the, let me just say, a desert area, because we have to attest that, or even a pastoralist community. So the officials were there, including the chair for IEBC. So I think for now, we have to give it time. We cannot judge that they have not yet turned in good numbers. It is actually a process that has to continue towards the electioneering period, which of course we are approaching. So on my side, I will say that young people are still need to be informed. We also have to create mentality that come out, go and pick your IDs. Because, you know, without your ID, how are you going to get your voter card registration that you're looking forward for?
All right.
Yes.
And let's talk about the young voter paradox. The strong interest for leadership, but do young people actually appreciate the process that comes with it? There is some underlying factors, like for example, when you talk about now the launching of the voters continuous registration exercise, but there have been some complaint about the distance, because it's actually centered on the district commissioner's office, and for some they feel like they travel for quite a long distance for them to actually register in this very important exercise. Do you think probably the services are not that much accessible to majority of young people who would have loved to be part of this very important exercise?
Thank you so much, my brother Evans. But I cannot fail to say this, that I know the question that you are directing will be relevant to now the key stakeholders from the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission. But I will also give my view that IBC is a state entity that is actually funded by the government of Kenya. And at the same time, it did not only serve a specific region, but countrywide. It comes with a lot of responsibility. The fact is, services has to reach to all people. And at the same time, we have a budget that is allocated on. That's why I'm saying that it could be relevant by the expert now in that sector. But I can give my view as a Kenyan. That I know IBC, and actually I will say because we have seen, and of course it's there in public domain, that the chair for IBC has said that services will be accessible to the people. And now that will depend how many sub-county are specific region? Because of course I understand there are counties that has majority of the constituency. Services has to reach these people. And in fact, we are living on a world that, or we are living on a state country that we have different region, has different population. But now, how are these people accessing to this facility? It's also my wish and call that I can say we let these services that we are talking about be accessible to the people. Example, we have grandparents, and an example, and allow me just to use that, who cannot go for long miles for them to exercise their democracy right of even having this voter registration, voter cards registration. Already they have. But at the same time, we have these young people who are growing. They have just got their ID. They right now want to get the voter cards registration to allow them exercise their democracy right when the time of election comes. I would say one thing, we also have to devolve this, and maybe just to answer and make it clear, it's a challenge at the same time. And I will speak in an angle that we have the pastoralists who are coming from far, and not only just pastoralists, we still have farmers counties that are still needing these services. But it is the right time, the specific entity that is concerned with that, and that is IBC, to look that as a challenge and ensure how it can make this process easily accessible to the local or to the local community within the area they are giving service to.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about the awareness out there. You said we still need a lot of initiative to actually sensitize the young people about the ongoing exercise and the ongoing voters registration exercise that is currently undergoing, today being the day 2 of the same process. Do you think probably maybe this is a part, it's a failure in itself when it comes now to the relevant bodies? I mean, this is a shared responsibility from the politicians all the way to the civil active society, and of course, active citizens, peoples of goodwill, and even responsibility for a person like you, because you run a very vibrant organization that deals with matters to do with the agendas and affairs of the young people. Do you think this is a failure on the part of very key stakeholders?
The first thing that I can tell you right now, as I've told you, this is the right thing, and actually it's making us proud as Kenyans, because the fact is, right now, politicians themselves, as you have said, are mobilizing these people. One thing, everybody has interest. They are targeting this generation. And at the same time, I believe, and I will say, they are even going ahead to tell them, come out and take this vote, because you are the people to determine who you are. And apart from that, we also have to see in an angle that somebody is telling this young person, go and have this card for them to have maybe an opportunity of winning an election, which is also an advantage, because they are even smothering this process. I have seen personally, and actually, I think it's there in public. Everybody has even created a post like, tokelezea, chukua kura. Tokelezea, chukua kura. Why? I think they have seen the only way is now to lure the public to have this card, because somebody X or somebody Y has an interest of becoming an MP, and he wants to remove somebody who is already in power. So the only choice he has is to ensure he or she, that is somebody X, has to mobilize this specific number of people to have this vote, or to have this voter registration card, to enable him or her actually remove whoever is in power. So I think that is the first thing that we need to acknowledge, that everybody is taking this initiative like, if I cannot mobilize these young people, the same people who elected the other person who is in power may continue. We also, actually, this is an angle that politicians are using as an advantage to let these young people take vote. And let me tell you, everybody is scared right now. And I'll just say that because it is there. Like, if I cannot have a good rapport, if I cannot have a good relationship with these young people, they are the same people who has power to vote me, or even to deny me the power that I'm looking for. So the fact is, and we need to appreciate, politicians are taking that angle to tell these young people, come. And I believe this is not just a short-term relationship, because we are looking them to have the votes, but actually it will continue to be a long term. We also have to take an initiative that the same young people are mobilizing themselves. And actually, it's a plus to all of us, because it is like any other time that we are being forced to come out and take this voter registration card. So the fact is, these young people are also aggressive. They have dream. They want to be in these spaces. So the fact is, they're also mobilizing each themselves to tell them, come clearly, have a vote for yourself, because we are the people to elect themselves. So this is a two-way thing, that somebody is looking as an advantage, and somebody is also using it as an advantage to drive their dream line. Another thing that actually we have to say about it, civil society organization. We have the activist entity, who sometimes also call for good governance, also call for accountability. And they also know that if the system is rotten, and then we will continue to complain. So they're also telling these young people, rather than us complaining for these wrong things that the government or any other person is doing, the only thing that you can do is come clearly, take a vote card for yourself, and then when that time comes, it will be a sword, it will be a weapon for you to exercise your powers, your democracy, and choose a leader that you want.
All right. And, this is not the first time politicians, the civil society groups have actually mobilized the young people to turn out in big numbers and actually register as voters. We have been there before. This is a repeated cycle. But there is another very critical aspect of it, the lack of trust in the institution, the critical institutions mandated with the responsibility of carrying out this very important exercise. Some fear that the decisions that they make in the ballot will not count at the end of the day. And that is a drawback when it comes to when we talk about now the active engagement of young people. Do you think this lack of trust could be the reason why, in as much as there is some initiatives and effort to lobby young people to take voters registration card, this could be another setback for them?
Allow me to laugh, Evans, because when you ask me that question, I don't know how I will answer, but the facts remain that we have trust within our government, and the fact is, we have to take first initiative to be patriot Kenyan. That is the first thing. And when you become a patriot Kenyan, and then you have to have trust within your system. When I say that, if at all we are looking forward to that angle, and then I believe everybody will say we don't have Kenya. Because how will they gain that trust? But we have trust because they are entity, specific state entity that are dealing with that. And I believe, and actually it's there in public, Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission. As the name is suggests, it's independent.
All right, the underlining factors, like for example, when a politician during the campaign period like this, a politician will come with a lot of promises. For young people, it's all about creation of jobs, better working environment for some, a more conducive environment in terms of taxes and all that. But when this, the so-called politicians takes the mantle and the instrument of power, for them, they feel like it's completely the opposite. Now we're talking about the contradiction itself. From what the politician says, it's like preaching wine and drinking water. That itself is what forms the agitation and sometimes the drawback to take part in this very critical exercise. Do you think that's a very a concern factor when it comes to now what is happening, voters' apathy?
Thank you, Evans. The first thing, and I like the fact that you have used the name politician, it is the right time that we need to eliminate politician and now have leaders. Because I believe when we have leaders who knows exactly what they want, then at the same time, we will have a transparent society. And I like the fact that everybody has interest. And it is true that some of them are using this advantage that when these people elect us, we can actually do whatever we want. But I think we have a new Kenya right now. When I say that, I think for now the trust has been entrusted to the young people. Sometimes we have assumed this one, and it is true that they were just used as a stepping stone for the people to achieve their dream.
But do the young people really understand that they have the power to actually challenge the status quo and advocate for what they want? Do they really realize how much power they have.
Yes, that is evident. And right now, as a country, I think since ever independent, we have actually have one of the leader that the high who was actually having the high rank in this country being impeached. And actually, the reason behind that, there was a movement called themselves Gen Z, Young Generation Growing. And actually, they complained. We have leaders. Since then, the whole cabinet has been fired. Why? The young people have come out to. So you find they know right now what are their right. And that is actually they are using as a channel now to communicate. Mm-hmm. So as a leader, if I have an intention of occupying any other space, the first thing, I have to have the right intention, because if at all I will get with my own interest, it's a challenge. And that's why I'm telling you, it's a new Kenya that we have right now. These young people have known exactly what they want. These young people have seen the light. These young people have woken up from sleep. These young people are having dreams that want to be actualized, but not just drawn or even something that we look forward. But they are saying that you are a leader, you have ambition. Are you going to fulfill? If not, they will actually recall you. And that's actually what I can tell you. Recently, and it is there actually, when the new IBC was constituted, I think you have seen people saying that let us recall the leaders. If at all you had a manifestation that you have not fulfilled, then we can recall you. So you find there are the people coming right now, even to discuss in deep what the Constitution of Kenya give them power, even to check these leaders, do whatever that they want. Mm-hmm. And I believe the colonialism era that force was being used is already a past tense. Mm-hmm. Right now, if you have intention of any space, any leadership, what do you want to do for us? It is not exactly your own interest or even championing the welfare of others, but you speak by the voice of the people of the great Republic of Kenya. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And even as we wind up this very important discussion, yes. Well, what happens to a voter who does not appreciate and probably understand the critical power that he or she has at his disposal to make change? How much convincing do you need to actually preach the gospel of good governance and convince the minds that still hold back to them, quote, the government is corrupt, leader A will not do what he promised, leader B, to some extent, is not genuine. And that is now the dilemma. As we talk about the magic number, 6.3 million targeted registered voters, majority being the young people, how can we actually actualize the numbers into real figures and to votes?
First thing that I need to tell you, Evans, there is this phrase that I'll quote it in Kiswahili. Mtoto akililia wembe mpe, maana ikimkata atajua uchungu. What does that statement mean? Right now, Kenyans are saying that we want, or even not Kenyans, but the young generation, we want good governance, we want good leadership. And then we have given you a platform. If at all you are not taking that initiative, if at all you are not using that advantage, and then I think the wembe, or even the phrase that I've just used, is to let the ignorance punish you, because the services has been open, the system has been, now the system is clear right now, do whatever you want. Actually, the Constitution has given you right. But at the same time, if you are on a blanket and you are waiting for somebody to pull you out, then I think that is the mistake that can happen. The only thing that I can call for, if they are not aware, then can we create that awareness? Can we be informed? And then if they are not coming out, let us not then come to the street again. Because if at all we are saying that come clearly, win yourself a vote card so that when election comes, you are able to exercise power. But you are there sleeping and you cannot pull out. I think that is a challenge. And one thing that we also need to take an initiative. Can we take an example, like personally in my surrounding, am I safe when I speak in that language? And then I will be able to do the right thing. When my father, my sister around me think of the same thing. And then we will all be on a safe society because we are advocating the right thing. And it is true that young people are there and they are calling themselves that we want the right thing. Sometimes they also sleep. I don't know whether you can be brought services to where you are. It is true. The Constitution has given you power to do whatever you want. But if you're not using that opportunity, it is a challenge.
All right. Yes. I think that's all we had for today as far as this very brilliant conversation is concerned. It's something that will still have more engagement about this very important process, because it touches on the fundamental aspect of governance, and it's all about the state of the nation. How do you want your country to be governed? And very key critical stakeholder is you and I as loyal citizens, and to make sure that we take part in this very important exercise. Chief Executive Officer of Okoa Vijana Initiative, Gideon Meriru, asante sana for making time.
Thank you so much. And maybe the last comment that I can give out to the Kenyan, let us come out and actually participate in this process. Vijana amkeni, tuchukue kura, ni wakati wetu sasa.
All right. So now we proceed with